For fans of the Rally series, we've been patiently waiting for a title that would take us back to the classic days of rally gaming, whilst bringing in the best in simulation at the same time, giving us more in the way of setups, driving, accuracy, visuals, sounds and physics. Bit much? Possibly. Welcome to Total Reviews, the web show where we take a look at games of interest and see if they really are worth a purchase, in partnership with Games Planet, where you can purchase games like our choice today at a discounted rate from an officially licensed game seller. Today's episode is about DiRT Rally, and I have to admit I've been waiting for this one for a long time. Developed by Codemasters and available on PC, PS4 and Xbox One, DiRT Rally is a simulation-style community-driven game, developed to be everything we wanted and then some more. This review will be using the PC version of the game, but all three versions are designed to be very similar to each other, if not identical. Requiring a 64-bit version of Windows 7, 8 or 10 and a minimum of an i3 processor, 4GB of RAM and a DirectX 11 graphics card with at least 1GB of VRAM and a massive 35GB of hard drive space. The specs in itself point towards a solid build, but we know that specs are not necessarily representative of the finished product. Console gamers need not worry about that though, just plug it in and play. From the get-go, this is a complete title, slick menu interfaces, demo screens and plenty of options to handle just about any aspect of the UI and the game itself. I was already rating this highly. Having been one of the first people to purchase DiRT Rally way back in its early access program, I'm pleased to say that it has come leaps and bounds, and Codemasters have been listening to the public many a time, implementing changes that have been requested and adding in things as best as they possibly can. At the time of this review, DiRT Rally is in version 1.1, which coincides with the console release. It includes 6 rally locations: Wales, Greece, Germany, Monte Carlo, Finland and Sweden, with over 70 stages and 4 FIA Rallycross tracks, as well as a famous Pikes Peak hill climb in 3 variants, and 40 cars from every era of rally, from the Mini Coopers of the 1960s right the way up through the Sierras of the 80s, Imprezas of the 90s, the Ford Focus of the 2000s and the current generation of rally hot hatches. Add to that the dangerous vehicles of Group B Rally and a bunch of licensed rallycross vehicles featuring well-known names such as Peter Solberg, and you'll find that DiRT Rally has something to suit everyone's tastes. With this version of the release comes a new tutorial system, where every aspect of driving, from the seemingly alien language of pace notes to the concept of weight transfer, understeer and oversteer are covered. This is a welcome addition to those who want to enter the world of rallying but haven't a clue about how it all works, as well as a nice reminder for those of us who are already used to all this and just want to see if there's more that we can work on. Once you've got yourself checked on all the tutorials, you have many different ways to play the game. You could go ahead and do a single stage at any location in any car, or you can join one of the hundreds of leagues around the world and fight it out with your friends or the best of the dirt drivers in the world. Don't think you're up to taking on the best yet? Not a problem. DiRT Rally features a full career mode with rally, rallycross and hill climb championships, each championship becoming harder than the last. Or if you really want, and this is my personal favourite, you can set up a custom championship with however many locations and stages, and the rewards and experience will scale accordingly, giving you ultimate control over what you want to do. So far I've spoken about the game setup and what it contains. Now it's time to actually get into the main part itself, the rallying. Once you've loaded up into the service area, you're given options to repair damage, if needed, set up the car to your perfect style by changing everything from brake pressure and bias to the camber on the wheels, and then test it out in shakedowns. You can also view event information to attempt and visualize the course ahead of you as best as you can. And once you're ready to go, a simple press of the start stage button takes you into the car and ready to drive. Watch the lights as they go out, listen to the co-driver as they count down, and then grab the perfect launch off the line and work your way towards the end, hopefully without crashing. Each location presents its own difficulties and challenges. Greece is full of narrow dirt tracks lined with rocks. Your concentration has to be at 105% as you try to keep up with the barrage of instructions being thrown at you by your co-driver. Wales is fast, muddy and gravelly, with lots of little jumps that can upset the car massively if you take them wrong, and track edges you don't want to touch, unless you want to hug a tree. Germany is very stop-start, with tarmac and cobblestone stages full of sharp corners and wide, long straights. With the occasional super fast corner you can slide around very nicely, and rocks on the edge of the track. Lots of them. Just like real life. Monte Carlo is a true classic. In the mountains of Monaco, ice patches cause your car to lose traction very quickly, and you don't want to hit the parked cars on the side, which I've done many times before. Good thing DiRT doesn't take insurance into account, because I'd probably get nothing out of that event if it did. Sweden is a winter wonderland where your throttle control will determine if you make it out of a corner alive, and snowbanks will pull you in if you find that your car is touching them. You have to either use them to your advantage or just avoid them full stop. And then we have Finland, a jump heaven with extremely fast roads full of massive jumps and huge drifts. Don't be surprised to hear your co-driver calling jump and crest into crest jump, maybe into big jump. That just means the job's being done right. Lining up the car over the jump correctly is the biggest challenge there. Add to that the unique characteristics of each car, ranging from the front-wheel drive understeer of the Mini Cooper to the sheer power of the Ford RS200 Group B car, and you'll find yourself immersed in the game hour after hour, enjoying the stunning visuals and lighting effects as you wrestle to get to grips with every single car. And every single car has its own little quirks, and mastering them will mean that you can then move on to master the tracks. Weather and time of day is done fantastically in game 2, with stage options ranging from a bright sunny day to a rainy or snowy night. Optimised very well, the weather effects have little to no impact on the frame rate, with the Xbox and PS4 experience locked to 60 frames per second, and the PC experience ranging depending on your specs. Night racing is something else, with the lights actually interacting with the objects around you and casting shadows, giving it a feeling I have not experienced in any game before, and making those replay helicopter shots look extra special. Moving on to the sounds, they are quite simply sublime, with each car sounding very different but very raw, ready to rally. You'll be questioning yourself as to whether you're actually driving a real car or not, because everything from the squeal of the brakes to the hiss of the turbo failing, and the sounds of gravel hitting the underside of the car is including, making the sounds a vital part of going fast. Backfire noises are particularly impressive here, as are the noises of the turbo dump valves. Force feedback, completely customizable, with different settings for everything from steering centering forces to wheel slip forces. It feels accurate and solid, but I did notice a few issues with certain cars having force feedback that seemed almost as light as a feather. Overall feedback strength is a little weak too, but nothing too major, and for certain you get a very whole feeling from your wheel, and even a controller is very good on a controller too. Damage is modelled fantastically on the visual side, and there are hundreds of different ways to damage your car, from leaving it in gear too long to a full-on barrel roll. However, whilst the damage mechanism is very in-depth, I think having an option to scale how easily a car is damaged would be incredibly useful to add additional challenge to those who want it. And of course, you can't just repair damage just like that. As per proper rally rules, you have a time limit in which you can repair your car and can only do so every 2 stages. This is where you need your engineers, who come with a whole raft of different skills so that you can set up your team exactly the way you want it. My one gripe with the damage modelling would be the generic cracking of the windscreen, which after a while becomes kind of dull. But apart from that, and the lack of scalability, it's a very well thought out system. The 2 side, in quotes, events of the title are like subtitles in themselves. You have the Rallycross Racing, which is an officially licensed series and also has full Rallycross style heats, semi-finals and finals. Personally, I don't spend too much time there, preferring out and out rally racing, but when you want to break from left 4 into hairpin, right 80 over crest, jump maybe into crest and crash. Then jumping into Rallycross provides an enjoyable experience with cars that seem to want to be always sideways with your foot hard down on the accelerator. The second side event is the hill climb events at Pikes Peak. Again, these work very differently to the Rally Championships in cars that are generally far faster and on the famous Colorado Road into the Rocky Mountains. For this one, you have no co-driver, so you either need to know the road ahead or, like a Jedi, use the Force. Either way is fun, and the vista is absolutely stunning as you climb up towards the clouds and lose power as less air enters the car. Yep, even that is modelled in. But when you go back to a normal rally with your co-driver, you may notice that on occasion he seems to overlap himself, and worse still, there are times when he gives you a pace note that's not right at all, so you do need to get used to that and figure out which ones are which. Overall, there's not much to fault on this title, but I do feel that at the time of this review, there needs to be maybe more in the way of locations. Not too many more, but perhaps just 2 or 3 more, maybe Catalonia, Mexico, Australia. Nevertheless, in its current form, Dirt Rally is the rally title to beat, and Codemasters have done an amazing job and developed this title exactly the way it should have been developed, taking into account the community and interacting with them and working with them to create a game that I am sure that even the legendary Colin McRae himself would be proud of. Despite the Dirt name, this is not a Dirt style title. This is Colin McRae Rally Reborn, and I give it a solid 90 out of 100. Well worth a purchase on any platform. And if you want to purchase this game, then take a look at the link in the description box to take you to Games Planet, where you'll be able to purchase it at a discounted rate and support us at the same time. Well done, Codemasters. Well done.